This time, paano naman i-apply ang differentiation formulas kapag ang given ay may trigo functions? So, kung natatandaan nyo, may 6 na trigonometric functions, namely sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Siyempre, since there are 6 trigo functions, therefore, there are also separate formulas for their differentiation each. Remember, we are looking for the derivatives of each trigo functions. We are not looking for their own values. Therefore, yung sign na opposite over hypotenuse ay hindi may apply dito. Now, let's move with their formulas. So, the 6 trigo functions would be having this differentiation formulas. So, the derivative of sine x. The derivative of sine x is cos x. The derivative of cos x is negative sine x. The derivative of tan x is secant squared x. Derivative of secant x is sec x tan x. And derivative of cosecant x, negative cosecant x cotangent x. Derivative ng cotangent x is negative cosecant squared x. So, ito lang yung deal dito sa calculus or sa derivatives nitong trigo function. Kailangan familiar ka sa mga formulas na ito. Why? Because if you're not familiar, syempre obviously you will not find the derivative itself. So, kailangan, kung hindi mo kayang kabisaduhin, kailangan maging familiar ka. Or at least, kahit papano, have a copy of yours. So, if we're going to apply that in the formula, I have here the copy of my formulas here below para maging guided tayo. So, kailangan familiar ka dyan kung saan ginagamit. So, apply natin. Example, y is equal to negative 3 cosine x. Now, before I proceed with number 1, aside from the copy of the formulas here below, kailangan din, hindi mo nakakalimutan yung mga basic derivative or differentiation formulas. Kailangan yung mga nakaraan mong natutunan about differentiation, may apply mo pa rin dito. Bakit? Kasi later on, there are functions or trigo functions that involves power rule, constant function, okay? And there are also sum or difference. There are also product rule or quotient rule. So, kailangan hindi mo kalimutan lahat ng yon. Kagaya nito, si number 1. Y is equal to negative 3 cos x. Technically speaking, that means negative 3 times the cosine function x. Ibig sabihin, negative 3 is a constant. So, we will try to look on the formula of the constant multiplied to a function. So, sa constant multiplied to a function, pag may constant daw na negative 3, kokopyahin mo lang yan. Tapos, kukunin mo yung function o yung derivative ng second function na cosine x. So, it would be like this. Y prime is equal to negative 3, kopya si negative 3, and look for the derivative ng cosine. Punta ka dito sa baba. Asan si cosine? Ito. Ano derivative ng cosine? Negative sine x. Therefore, it is negative 3 times negative sine x. And just like that, simplify. Obviously, there's an invisible one here, right? So, simplify. Number sa number, function sa function. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3 and copy sine x. And this is already the derivative of that function. Yun na yun. Now, for number 2, if you're going to look at the example, y is equal to sine x over x. Yes, there is a derivative of trigo function at ito yung sine x. Pero naka-over siya sa x. Therefore, this one is a quotient rule function. Okay, so this is a quotient rule differentiation na merong trigo. So, kailangan hindi mo nakalimutan yung formula ni quotient rule. Ano nga ulit yung kanina? Quotient rule, ang formula ng quotient rule is y prime is equal to copy the denominator, derivative ng numerator, minus copy numerator, derivative ng denominator, over g squared. This is our f, and this is our g. So, copy x, derivative ng sine x, cos x. Ayan. Copy g, copy denominator, derivative ng sine, cos. Minus, copy numerator, derivative ng x, 1. Okay? All over g squared over x squared. And simplify. So, x times cos x. So, that's x cos x. Sin x times 1. That's sin x. So, kung titignan mo, hindi naman na kayang i-simplify yan. And this is already the final answer. For number 3, okay, kung si number 2 ay quotient rule, si number 3 naman ay product rule. So, kailangan natatandaan mo kung ano ibig sabihin ng product rule. Sa product rule, ang formula is y prime is equal to copy derivative plus copy derivative. So, ano yun? fg prime plus gf prime. So, if this is the case, y prime is equal to f. Copy first. Copy. Ito si f natin, ito ngayon si g. So, copy derivative plus copy derivative. Copy x cube, copy derivative ng cos. Derivative ng cos ay negative sign. So, ito yon. Plus, copy derivative ng x cube, 3x squared. So, sana natatandaan kung paano mag-derive ng x cube. So, that's 3x squared. Next is multiply. X cube times negative sin x. So, simplify lang natin to. Negative x cube sin x. Kasi there's an invisible 1 here. So, x cube times negative 1 is negative x cube. Here, cos x times 3x squared. Nak, remember, 3x squared is not an angle. Ang angle ng cosine dito ay x. Si 3x squared dito, siya yung multiplier. Therefore, ilalagay mo lang siya sa harap. Okay? So, it would become 3x squared cos x. And, kung titignan mo, meron ka pa bang pwedeng i-simplify dyan or i-add? Wala. Kasi ito sine, ito ay cos. So, hindi sila pwedeng ma-combine. Therefore, that's already the final answer. Now, ma'am, paano naman si number 4? Anong klase ba si number 4? A product rule, a quotient rule, or there's no, or neither? So, kung papansinin mo, may 8. So, may constant. Tama? May constant. May sin x. So, there's a 1 function. And there's cosine x. So, nagkaroon ng dalawang function na magkaiba, na magkatabi. At kapag magkatabi, that's multiplication. Therefore, it's product rule. At gaya nga ng kanina, ang product rule formula natin, copy derivative plus copy derivative. Pero, may constant 8. Therefore, parang ginawa natin kay number 1. Kahit dahil may constant, 8. So, copyhin mo lang si 8. Yan, 8. Sinulat lang natin si 8. Tapos, kunin mo yung function nito as product rule. So, copy sin x derivative ng cos. Derivative ng cos, negative sin x. Then, plus, copy cos x derivative ng sin x. Derivative ng sin x, cos x. And solve. So, it would be, simplify mo lang, sin x times negative sin x. Dalawang sin x. So, it's negative sin squared x. Sin times sin, negative sin squared x. Cos x times cos x, cosine squared x. Tapos, may 8 sa labas. Ngayon, syempre, dahil may 8 sa labas, i-distribute mo yan sa bawat sa loob. So, 8 times negative sin squared x, so negative 8 sin squared x plus 8 cos squared x. And this is already the answer in that example. So, ganun lang po. So, ang kahirapan lang dito kay trigo function, it's already an application of everything. So, kailangan familiar ka na sa formula na to. At the same time, hindi mo dapat kinakalimutan yung mga naunang lesson. Okay, so now let's move on to the next examples that involves trigo function. Now, kung papansinin mo, medyo combination of everything na ito. Si number 5, may plus na operation. So, there are 2 terms na kailangan mo kuhanan ng derivative. Pero kung papansin mo yung first term, parang yung number 4 kanina. Yung first term ng number 5, there is a constant and there is a product rule. Tama? So, to have it, paano yun, ma'am? Copy mo yung constant, tapos copy derivative plus copy derivative. So, how is this done? It looks like this. Paano yun, ma'am? Kinopya si 14, kasi constant siya. Product rule. Tan x, copy, derivative ng cos. Nandito yon, derivative ng cos, negative sign. Copy derivative plus copy derivative, so plus, copy mo si cos, ito siya. Derivative ng tan, nasaan ang derivative ng tan? Secant squared x. Okay, that's my fault. Okay, I have written it cosecant. So, let me just change it. This is secant x.